Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Box the Comics. I'm your host, Chase Higgins. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe down below, and share with some friends. This week, we're going to be talking about the first phase of Star Wars The High Republic. For those of you that do not know what it is, Star Wars The High Republic is Disney's version of the Old Republic. It takes place 200 years before the Skywalker saga, and it helps tell the story of the Jedi during their height, or their prime, and how they are guardians of peace and justice, and how the Jedi Order is working right now, as they don't have any real threats, or the Sith are destroyed. There's no really necessary bad guys. So it's how they operate and how they help out the galaxy. So, this sounds interesting. Sit real tight. We'll be back soon. So Phase 1 of The High Republic introduces a bunch of brand new characters that are both Jedi and non-Jedi. These characters become central to the stories told. Characters like Avar Kriss, Crave Trennis, Elzar Mann, and more were explored to show the depth and their strengths and weaknesses of Jedi and other people in the time of this High Republic era of Star Wars. Okay, so even though there is peace across the galaxy of Star Wars right now, there are still threats popping up. A particular threat that the Jedi have to deal with is called the Nihil. And the Nihil are a marauder group led by Marchion Ro, and they present a significant danger, as they're always trying to foil the Jedi's plans and trying to overthrow the Jedi, so that way they have the power and the Jedi are no longer Jedi. So, with a major focus on the Jedi, Phase 1 goes ahead and it dives into different aspects of the Force, showing new abilities that have not been seen in either TV shows or movies, and they help expand the history of the Jedi, per se, in this particular phase. It explores various Force abilities and philosophies, providing a broader understanding of the Force beyond what is seen in the Star Wars movies. Some other background about the High Republic initiative is that this is not limited to just novels or books, but is actually a couple different, comic books. You'll have there's one that's like a play script, which is interesting. Short stories and other media, which creates a cohesive and interconnected narrative to provide a different view of this era of Star Wars. But for the sake of this video, we're going to keep it simple and only share the main points of each phase and each wave, so that way you as the reader can go ahead and get the most out of this High Republic Phase 1. So, overall, Phase 1 of Star Wars is about laying the foundation of the new era, and it introduces key characters, conflicts, and themes that will appear throughout the different phases of this new era of Star Wars. It aimed to provide fans with a fresh perspective of the Star Wars universe, while also maintaining at its core what Star Wars is and its value that it brings to the table. So, as a new reader, where do you begin? That's probably the first question, as this is brand new to everybody, and I just want to help explain what that is. Each phase, so far there's only 3, has waves in it. For Phase 1, it has a total of 17 readings, which may seem overwhelming, but within each phase there's a main trilogy, such as the movies of this phase. And then you have your anthology stories, such as Solo, Rogue One, those type of stories, per se. And they all help connect to the broader story, or that main story. Okay, so continuing on, Phase 1 is called Light of the Jedi, as it focuses on the Jedi's order during their time here. So Phase 1, Wave 1 includes Light of the Jedi, Into the Dark, and the first 3 issues of comic book. Now, Light of the Jedi, I've got it right here. Light of the Jedi is what kicks everything off about the High Republic. It is episode 1 of this brand new era of Star Wars. And so this is a novel, and it's written by Charles Soule. And it's a great introduction for those that know nothing about Star Wars or that do know everything about Star Wars, as this does depict what direction that the High Republic is going in. After that, you have a youth adult novel, and I have that as well. It is called Star Wars Into the Dark, as it focuses on a Padawan Jedi, and it's by Claudia Gray. After that, you have your first set of comic books. So you have Marvel's The High Republic Volume 1, numbers 1 through 5. And that will end Wave 1 of Phase 1. Then beginning Wave 2, you have The Rising Storm, a novel by Cavan Scott. And The Rising Storm is High Republic Episode 2. And this one was a slow read. It had a lot of world building and creativity around it, so it was tough. After that, you have Marvel's The High Republic Volume 2, issues 6 through 8, and then you have the next youth adult novel called Out of the Shadows. This was a very smooth read because it was made for young adults, and it was a very quick, fun read. After that, in Wave 2, you have Tempest Runner, and Tempest Runner is more like a play and a script for a play rather than a novel, which is interesting but also a very fun read as it focuses a lot on the Nile. After Tempest Runner, you have The High Republic Volume 2, Shadow of the Nile, issues 9 and 10. And then you move into Phase 1, Wave 3, which starts with comic books titled The Trial of Shadows 1 and 2. Then The High Republic Volume 3, Jedi's End, issue 11, which are both adult comics. Then you have The Trial of Shadows, which is another adult comic. Then you have Marvel's The High Republic Volume 3, Jedi's End. And then you get to episode 3 of this Phase 1, which I'm currently reading right now. It's called The Falling Star. And so far, I am on chapter 7, because I just started it a few weeks ago. But overall, it's a very fun read. Not quite my favorite. If I had to rank these so far, it would be Light of the Jedi number 1, Fallen Star number 2, and then The Rising Storm number 3 out of this trilogy. Then you finish The Fallen Star and you move into The High Republic Volume 3, issues 13 and 15, Trial of Shadows 4 and 5. Then you go to another book called Midnight Horizon, which I also have here. Midnight Horizon is another youth adult novel, but overall, I mean, I just like reading Star Wars, so I'm looking forward to this one the most. And then Phase 1 ends with The Eye of the Storm 1 and 2, which is included in Marvel's The High Republic Volume 3, which is an adult comic by Charles Soule. So, overall, that is 17 items in Phase 1 and the background of the High Republic. So, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you found it helpful, go ahead and leave comments down below. If you're still confused, leave some comments. Maybe I can get back with clarification, or maybe other people within the YouTube area will help you out there too. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on Boxes of Comics.